Alright, what's up guys, people? It's your girl Camille. This is really an impromptu video, but I think it's one on my heart. First of all, recently I've been watching a bunch of like, God's coming. I had a dream and he's coming now. It's the end of the world type videos because I tend to just like fall into the YouTube rabbit holes of YouTube videos. So it's like all over my timeline now. And honestly, I was getting a little freaked out, and I was like, first of all, why am I getting freaked out? I'm saved, I'm going to heaven. I should be glad God is coming back. But another part of me was like, kind of got stuff on earth to do. So that's conflicting. You told me to do this, but you're coming back tomorrow. What's up with that? And so I began to go into the word and really dive in. Okay, God, like if you want us to know when you're coming and people are letting us know, then prepare me. But instead, what I found and what I believe God led me to read was he doesn't want us to know when he's coming, but he wants us to always think he's coming tomorrow. And so where I found this is Matthew 24:4. And so, actually, no, scratch that. Matthew 24:36 through 51. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I'm just going to pull out some things. But here we go. Verse 36. But of that day and hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels of heaven, but my Father only. So, not the angels, only God knows the day and the hour. Okay, and then a lot of people are like, all right, well, that means what about the year? What about the month? He may tell us that. Okay, maybe that could be true, but I don't think it is, because then it goes on to say, but as the days of Noah were, so shall also the coming of the Son be. So he's talking about Noah in Genesis, the huge flood that wiped out everybody. And so with Noah, God told him, hey, this is going to be it. It's going to be a reset button, build an ark, get your peoples, get the animals. We out here. And then, so it goes on to say, for as in the days, so in the days of Noah, when God had told him, all right, there's going to be a huge flood, build the ark, that were before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. So even though Noah knew and his family knew the end is coming, they still went on with their life because they were called to live life on earth. And so we are called to keep living life and keep doing the things that God has called us to do, even if he is coming tomorrow. To give some reference to that too, it's okay. I believe that, because it's not concrete, that it took Noah 100 years to build the ark. So in Genesis, and let me turn to it right quick. In Genesis, so Genesis 5 verse 32, which is the last verse, and Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. In chapter 7 verse 6, it then says, and Noah was 600 years old when the floods of the water was upon the earth. I believe it took Noah 100 years to build the ark. That doesn't say anything about when God tells someone, I'm coming now, that it's going to be 100 years. But that's just to say that there could be time in between. And if there is time in between, keep on with your life that God has called you to do. Don't freak out and don't do anything. But on the opposite spectrum of that, it says, so the good servant, and so I'll jump down to verse 42. So this is back in Matthew 24, verse 42. Watch therefore, for ye know not what hour your Lord does come. But know this, so you don't know when he's going to come, but here's what you should know. That if the good man of the house had known in what watch the thief would come, he would have watched and would not have suffered his house to be broken up. So if we did know when he was coming, if we did always think it was tomorrow, we would be diligent and make sure that our house was covered, and make sure that as for me and my house, we don't serve the Lord. But on the opposite of that, it says, but if that evil servant says in his heart, so this is verse 48, my Lord delayeth his coming. So if you know when God's coming and it's 100 years later, and you're like, oh, I got time to get myself together, it's okay. And my Lord, then 49, it says, and shall begin to smite his fellow servants, and to eat and drink and be drunken, right? The Lord of that servant shall come in a day when he looketh not for him, and in an hour that he is not aware of. So it'll sneak up on you, and you're not ready, because you think, or he told you, like, yeah, I'll come 100 years later, and you start slacking off. God's like, all right, how about tomorrow, right? So I'm going to take this as God may let people know, and I do believe he does, when he's going to come, warn us that we need to get our stuff together. But it's not going to be the day. It's not going to be the hour. I don't think it's going to be the year. It's not going to be the month. But he's going to let us know we need to start getting our stuff together. And if it's too far out and we're not getting our stuff together, he's going to come even sooner and surprise the heck out of us. So don't get caught up in all these people saying, oh, God's going to come, to the point where you're scared and you're not doing life. You're called to live life. Live life. But no, God's coming, and God's coming soon.